Welcome everybody to the MentorManthan info session. My name is Jeremy Fritzhand. I serve as CEO of VentureStudio at Ahmedabad University. I'm joined today by my colleagues Nilesh and Jigar, who are also organizers of the program. And we have one of our early mentors, Abhimanyu Gargesh, on the call as well. So today's session is just going to be an overview of the program, what to expect, some of the resources, why we've started the program, how to sign up as a startup, as a mentor, as an investor, and a way for you to connect with us as the organizers to ask any questions you may have about the program. So, a short background about VentureStudio. We were established in 2011 in collaboration with the Stanford University Design School. So we are the business incubator at Ahmedabad University in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. We are a Department of Science and Technology approved technology business incubator. And we have 3 specialized facilities across the campus open to the public for use. You just have to get in touch with us. If you're looking for co-working, engineering, or biotechnology, you can check out the facilities, sign on one of our agreements, and get started here. So the 3 facilities are our co-working hub and event space in the North Campus in Navrangpur. Then we have Prayashala, which is an engineering and prototyping fabrication shop in our Central Campus, and the BioNest, which is a biotech bio-incubator also on our Central Campus. So when we say we're a business incubator, we incubate startups through 6 different programs that are grants and seed funding. You can learn all about this on our website, which there'll be a link at the end of the presentation. Some quick metrics for you. We've dispersed 6 CR in funding in the last 4 years. We've supported over 170 startups from the lifetime of our incubator. There's been over 40 IPRs from incubated companies, creating over 600 jobs. So moving on to MentorManthan, this is a new program that we're launching. It's a pan-India virtual pitch feedback program. And it's going to be held every Thursday, starting next Thursday, April 17th, from 6 to 7:15 p.m. India Standard Time. So the reason we're launching this is because we wanted a program that offered honest, constructive feedback to startups and also served to bridge the gap between mentors, investors, and founders. So through this program, the startups will receive actionable next steps and access to an expert network. This is not a pitch competition. It's really a mentorship-driven program. And we'll get into some of the guidelines for mentors and investors a little bit later. But we've set up those guidelines so that folks joining the program know exactly how to give feedback through this program. We don't want folks coming on and grilling startups. We want them to be giving constructive feedback. So it also allows the participants to connect with pan-India mentors and investors. So why are we doing this? 90% of startups fail in the first 5 years, according to an IBM study about startups in India. And the primary reason listed was lack of strategic mentorship. So studies have also found with structured mentorship, founders are able to raise 7 times more capital than those that don't have mentorship. And the revenues of those companies grows on average 5 times faster than those without mentorship. So again, our goal is to replace the vague advice that some folks are getting from mentors or investors with structured, stage-appropriate insights on specific areas of their pitch. So who's it for? This program is for startups, mentors, and investors. On the startup side, we're looking for folks that are fundraising either at the pre-seed to Series A stage. So this is across sectors, across geographies, all are welcome. The main eligibility is that you need to be in a fundraise currently, and you have to have a pitch deck that is updated to our format, which we'll get into a little bit later in the presentation. For mentors, we're looking for the seasoned entrepreneurs and domain experts. Those can be folks that have successfully exited startups, industry specialists, and coaches and operators within the startup ecosystem. Don't necessarily have to be based in India. And then finally, the investors. We're looking for angel investors, early stage institutional investors, and venture scouts. All right, next up, what do you get as a startup? So startups that join the program are going to receive the pitch feedback and scorecard compilation, which again, we'll share with you a little bit later. You'll get guidance on your go-to-market strategies, your financials, investor readiness, and you'll have access to a resource bundle, which will be linked in the presentation, and I'll also put it in the chat here when we get to the Q&A. So also we will offer the warm introductions to the mentors and investors that are interested in connecting. So what do you get as a mentor and investor? This is a platform for you to share your insights and help the young ventures get off the ground and give them real structured advice. Also, it gives early access to promising deals, building your network across India's startup ecosystem. And we are a scorecard-driven feedback model, so there's no pressure to commit, just to contribute to the feedback form, which is structured and allows you to give actionable feedback to the startups. So the structure of MentorManthan is every Thursday at 5:55 p.m. The meeting will open, and we start with 10 minutes of mentor introduction that builds context about who and where the mentors are from and some rapport with them. Then we do a 10-minute founder's pitch. We use the Sequoia Capital 13-slide structure. We move into a 30 minutes of Q&A. So the mentors and investors can ask any clarifying questions or suggest improvements. Then the final 10 minutes of the first hour are reserved for the founder. So we flip the script, we allow the founder to ask questions of the mentors, and we want them to come prepared with at least 3 questions for the mentors and investor. At the end of the hour, the founder will drop off the call, and the final 15 minutes is reserved for the mentors to deliberate. They fill out the scorecard, which we compile and send back to the founder the following week. So as I mentioned, we use the Sequoia Capital template. There's a link to this template in the resource folder, which I'll drop in the chat. It's also available on the MentorManthan website. If you go to mentormanthan.com and scroll down to the resources at the bottom of the page, you'll see that there's a link to the resource folder. So real quick, we'll go through the slides. We have a title slide here. These are all the different slides included. You don't have to actually use this for your pitch. And so we kick off here with the company purpose. So we have an example here from Airbnb, defining the company in a single declarative sentence. For Airbnb, it was booking rooms with locals rather than hotels. Next is describing the describing the problem. So what's the pain of the customer? How does the customer solve the problem today? There's another example from Airbnb. Solution, how does your company make the customer's life better? What does your product physically sit? And what are the use cases? Why now? So this is, we want to see a little bit of historical evolution of your category and have you define some of the trends that have made your innovation possible. We get into the market size, specifically in the TAM, SAM, SOM format. The competition, this can be in the form of an XY matrix, or it can be in the form of a table where you list your competitors along the top and you list your features down the side. An overview of your product or service. The business model about your revenue, your lifetime value, account size, pricing, sales and distribution, all of those things should go on your business model slide. Your go-to-market strategy, traction, any progress or milestones that you've had, then financials in the form of an income statement and something mentioning your cap table. If you don't want to include all of that in your slide deck, it's recommended that you at least be able to share data, a data room, or mention that there's more information available for folks that are wanting to see more at a later date. Then finally, we have the team slide and the ask, what you're seeking and why. Let's see here. Okay, so next up is the evaluation criteria. So this scorecard is also available to the participants of the program. On the left side of your screen here, let's see if I can just zoom in here. All right. Okay, so on the left side of your screen is the actual scorecard. So each slide has a different set of questions for the mentors. The company purpose, we have 2 questions here with a 1 to 5 scale. The problem slide, again, we have 3 questions, solution side, and so on and so forth, all the way through each of the slides that are on the pitch. And then at the end of the scorecard, we can see the actionable feedback that the mentors and investors leave. For the solution, this is my top suggestion to improve. Then we see to strengthen their product market fit, they should, and so on and so forth with a few other categories. So what does that look like after we compile it? Well, we move over here to the compiled scorecard. This is just some dummy data that we've made so that you all can see what a compiled scorecard will look like. So we have each of the sections and the questions included, and then the average score. So we compile all of the different scores, create an average, and we put it in here. And you can see there's a total average score as well for the range questions. And then here we have the compiled actionable insights. So for each of those sections as well, we compile the feedback, and we're estimating that it'll be around 4 to 5 pages of feedback for the startup. So again, the program flow, it all starts off with an application via MentorManthan.com. If you're a startup, a mentor, or an investor, you'll see the buttons right there when you arrive to sign up. We'll reply within 1 week and notify you if you've been shortlisted or you need updates to your deck before scheduling the actual session. We'll have 1 prep call to review the session format. That'll be a 30-minute call once your meeting is scheduled. We scheduled a slot for the Thursday session. And then the Monday before your session, an invite will go out to the mentors and investors with your pitch deck, along with the calendar hold. Then finally, the compiled scorecard is sent to the startup and the participating mentors and investors the following week, along with the warm intros when relevant. So guidelines. We have set up some guidelines for both mentors and investors and startups. The link here is in the resource folder as well. But just real quick, we can go over some of the feedback guidelines. We do want you to provide specific actionable suggestions, share relevant industry insights and experience, highlight the strengths to build on, frame your criticism constructively, tailor the advice to the startup stage and context, ask thoughtful questions that prompt reflection, and for investors, share perspective on market size, business model, and fundraising strategy. We don't want the mentors and investors to grill or interrogate the founders, dismiss the ideas outright, dominate the conversation, make comparisons to other startups in a competitive way, or give vague feedback, or focus solely on the problems with suggesting solutions. And for investors, make any investment offers during the sessions or pressure founders for exclusive deals. Similarly, we've gone over the application process for startups over here. And you can go over this in more details at the link in the resource folder. So what's our ask of you? Startups, we want you to bring your best pitch in a growth mindset. For mentors and investors, we want you to join this movement and contribute your expertise. If you're an incubator or accelerator, you can think about getting in touch with us to start your own chapter of MentorManthan. And for everybody, we'd love it if you could help us spread the word and help us grow India's innovation ecosystem. So there's a link here to the resource folder, which I'm going to drop into the chat now. You can scan this QR code to learn more about the VentureStudio. This recording, as well as the presentation, will be available to all those that have attended today. We'll post it on our LinkedIn page so that you can review it later. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And we will open it up for any questions. I'm dropping the link to the shared folder in the chat here. And so in that folder real quick, you'll see 7 items, or 8 items actually. What you'll see is you'll see a recording from a pitch from a similar program. It's called Xena Intelligence. That's a 10-minute pitch, 30 minutes Q&A, and then 10 minutes of questions from the startup to the mentors. You'll see the pitch deck that was used in that session. You'll see the Sequoia Capital pitch deck template that we use for MentorManthan. You'll see a 1-page MentorManthan program overview. You'll also see the scorecard. You'll see what the compiled scorecard will look like. And then you'll see the mentor investor guidelines and the startup overview and application process. So now that we've covered all that, Jigar, Nilesh, did I miss anything that you wanted to add? All right, we'll open it up now. Any questions of the audience? Happy to answer anything you may be wondering about for the program.
Hey.
Oh yeah, we have a question here from Rohan.
Yeah, hi Jeremy. So, what is the scope for a public-private partnership in this program? So, I represent a public hospital based in India, the Tata Memorial Hospital, and we were quite keen to have synergies with folks who may have uh, startups or problems they wish to solve in healthcare, particularly in a field like something like oncology. So, are there any sector-specific sub-programs you may have, or is it just a single platform for everyone?
Great question. So Rohan, maybe we can connect offline because VentureStudio as an incubator of the university has plenty of partnership opportunities for folks like you that are looking for custom programming. And so I think Jigar or Nilesh will take down your info and we'll reach out to you. If you RSVP'd through the LinkedIn event, then we'll have your info and we'll reach out to you directly to discuss that in more detail, okay?
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, Niraj.
Yeah, hi, Jeremy. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I have already made a submission because I had received a link for that. So my question is, do I need to resubmit the pitch deck in the Sequoia format? Because my format is a little different.
Yes, you will. So we'll reply back to you just so we start a thread with the team. And usually in our replies to the startups that apply without the correct format, we'll share you some feedback about your deck, which slides are missing. And then you can reply back on that email thread with the updated deck.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions out there? Yes, Laxmikant.
My understanding is that in this forum, the startups are presenting their business case with an expectation of the funding also, which could be received from the venture studio. Now, when is that decision made? Because whatever I could gather was that through this discussion, which we have on every Thursday, we receive insights about the startup, give them the feedback, feed forward rather, as to what could they improve upon. Uh, when does a funding decision is made for the startups?
So this is completely separate from the funding programs that VentureStudio offers. Those grants you can find on our website, and some of them are open, but some of them actually we're waiting for our next tranche of funding from the granting agencies. This program has nothing to do with being reviewed for those programs. You have to send a separate application if you're interested in grant or seed funding through VentureStudio. And to be very clear, MentorManthan, the expectation that we're setting is this is not for funding. This is more for feedback than anything. We wanted to create a forum where the startups could practice their pitch in front of mentors and investors and get honest feedback before they go out to actual investors that they want funding from, so that they can hopefully adjust their deck before they, have those really important fundraising meetings.
Got it. Can I ask another question?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you also support through the mentorship program, uh, even after someone feed forward is provided to them? Like, do you associate a mentor with, say, a startup so that they can continue to work with them, just like an incubator?
So we do facilitate the introductions to the mentors and investors. We hopefully want to be that bridge between the two, but not all mentors and investors have the capacity to connect with every single startup. So if there's an interest from the startup to connect, then we'll reach out usually to the mentors and investor and say, hey, is it okay if we make a warm introduction to this person? Otherwise, what we are expecting to is we've let the mentors and investors know, if you want to connect with the participating startup, wait until after the pitch, and then you can reach out to them directly and you can also build that relationship. We just want to be in the loop.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, Kesava.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks for the connect again. I would like to ask, this mentorship program, as you mentioned, it is on every Thursday, the event happens, right? And if we start doing this pitch deck preparation and uploading the process, application process, how long this whole journey will take? Once you provide the feedback, is that end, or is it something that you provide room to the startups where they can update the decks on a going forward?
Yeah, so great question, and kind of having to do with what Laxmikant was asking as well, is what happens after the program. We will compile the feedback and the scorecard that the mentors and the investors filled out from the session. So you'll receive that. And then, if and when pertinent, we'll make introductions to the mentors and investors. And then VentureStudio, as the business incubator, we do have grants and seed funding available. Usually we make an announcement whenever any of those programs open up. So what's best is if you follow us on LinkedIn or you keep an eye on our website to all of the different funding schemes, and you can see when those funding schemes are open. Outside of this program, we don't have a formalized mentorship program for those that aren't receiving grants or seed funding from VentureStudio. But we do have some partners in the ecosystem that we refer people to. So you can feel free to reach out, send us an email. Jigar or Nilesh, did you want to add anything there?
No, I agree with you. We have got a panel of mentors and investors who can pitch in down the line and try to assess based on their availability and the competencies to bring along the table for the startups, and relevance is there.
And also all our schemes are open round the year. All the programs are open round the year. So anytime you can apply whenever you feel it is good for you to apply now. So you can apply, but the screening happens quarterly or once we have decent number of applications for that.
So as Jeremy mentioned, this is no relevance or connection with
Correct.
your application going forward for a granting scheme. This is just a sort of a mela of sorts for you to sort of refurbish your pitch decks, your ideas, to sort of do a manthan around what you're doing with respect to your venture, right? And fine tune it and sort of refine it going forward to make you a better prospect for any future endeavors of yours. So this is totally disconnected from any formal applications to us as a granting institution.
But of course, it is also pipeline for us, but there is nothing guaranteed. But we would like you, we will of course suggest you that you can apply to our schemes if we have that funding. But that doesn't mean that the funding is guaranteed from our side.
Yes, Anuj.
Yeah. Hi, Jeremy. So I was
Hi.
just thinking like if we can make some, tool or something available where, all the startups or the people, those who have applied or connected to this event can be listed at one level, and the same way, all the mentors or all the other like the investors are available. So the pool will always be active and option to open, because let's say if I miss one Thursday meeting, I would not be aware about that startup. But if I have an option to access that data through the sheet, or maybe, I mean, if the tool is not available, at least to go with the Google Sheet or something. But yeah, Google Sheet is something I would say the data and the context would be open for everyone to download and pass to others. So may not be the right way. But if we can build something in between, so I believe
Sure.
might be a good option.
No, great feedback. And we definitely want to promote the mentors and investors that come on the program. What we envision is a dedicated page on the website that everybody will be able to see your picture, your LinkedIn page, your name, title, organization. That's one part. And then for the startups that want the acknowledgement, want some promotion, we will also thinking to keep them on the website as well.
Being an IT company, while you were showing that feedback form, I just thought of that, like if we make a small tool and just allow people to have a feedback for one startup, multiple people can share the feedback, and if I can show that to the startup, very easy to make that form and thing. So
Sure.
yeah, I just thought of that, like that can be always a good idea, short form and
Yeah.
customize things.
Well,
So
that's a great feedback. What we can consider if the startup agrees is recording. We can record their pitch, and then for the mentors that aren't able to attend, we send the recording and the feedback card, and you can fill it out at your leisure.
thank you.
Sure. Yes, Harshal.
Yes. One more question from the investor side, investor point of view. If someone likes, because investor also invited, right? So if
Yes.
someone likes to invest in a particular startup or something, so it will be direct or it will be from the VentureStudio?
No, so that's up to if the investor wants to reach out directly to the startup. There's a set of guidelines. If you check in the shared folder and you go into the mentor and investor guidelines document, we have a suggested procedure of how you should do that. We want you to wait until after the session, then it's up to you if you want to reach out and call for a meeting with the startup. And you don't have to do it through us. That's your decision. But we would like you to keep us informed, at least so that we know that there's a conversation ongoing, and so that we can track some of those introductions that are made through the program.
Okay. So success will be uh, whatever the success things that you can show that, okay, this program get the success also.
Yes, we do. I mean, that's what we're envisioning is that we
Yes.
do hope to be bridging that gap and making valuable connections, both for the investors and for the startups.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Abhimanyu, did you want to say something about, because Abhimanyu has been on a similar mentoring program. Maybe you can give some feedback to the folks that are new to this style of mentoring program.
Yeah, so thankfully, I was in the US version of something which I think Jeremy was a huge part of. And thankful that he's invited me on this. But it's for the startups that have actually been part of those programs, it's super, super helpful for them. And it really, really makes a lot of difference in the way they do the pitches and, are able to have that confidence to go to investors. So for me, the last 8 months that I've been part of the different program has been an amazing, amazing cycle. And me and Jeremy had talked about it this when he wanted to introduce this program in India, and I was so kicked about it because I can already see the impact of what he is trying to do over here and the reach and the potential that it will get people to. So I really hope that all of us can really make that time on Thursdays and be part of this program. And I just hope a lot of startups also really apply because it will get them to a different place. That's what my thought would be.
Thanks, Abhimanyu. All right, any other questions out there? We still have some time here on the call. If any folks would like to clarify or have suggestions or even feedback already, we're happy to hear. We see this program evolving over time. We want to make sure that we're, offering something differentiated, something really valuable. So as the program evolves too, we're open-minded. Feel free to send us that feedback. Don't hold back. If you think, oh, maybe you should add this question to the scorecard, or like Anuj offered, a suggestion about how to get more engagement. We love that. We really want to hear from you. We want to make this a great program for everybody.
So when is the first session happening?
So the first session will happen next Thursday. We do have actually, I think the next 3 sessions are finalized, and then we have 2 or 3 startups in the pipeline for the last final 4-5 sessions booked out. So if you know of any startups that are almost ready, please send them our way. The end of May, or middle to end of May, is when the next openings are. If you are a mentor or an investor on this call thinking about joining, please fill out the mentor or investor form on the website so that you'll receive the invitation. The invitation will go out on Monday, this coming Monday, for next Thursday's session. But in order to receive that invitation, you have to fill out the mentor or investor application on the website. Yes, Anuj.
I would say I have 2 things to share.
Yeah.
One, like what you mentioned about next Thursday session, would be a good idea if we get something information prior to the session, like who is going to present in what category and what they have, or maybe a.
Yes. So
I would get my interest, whether I'm interested in. I want to skip it. I will start.
Sure. So real quick, the first part of your question, if you sign up as a mentor or investor, every single Monday, you'll receive an email. In that email, you'll receive the pitch deck of the participant along with their name, their LinkedIn, and the website, and an overview of the company. So you can review the pitch deck. We want you actually to review the pitch deck ahead of time so you're kind of prepared on the content. And you can also kind of start to do due diligence if you're interested by checking their LinkedIn profile and their website if they have it ahead of time. But in order to receive that email, you do have to sign up as a mentor or investor on the website to get on the email list. Is that it?
Was the same.
Sorry?
Second question is the same. Like, I mean, I want to get in both the category as a mentor and the
Sure.
investor. So basically, I have already done investment in two of the
Oh, Anuj, I think your connection is breaking up.
Oh.
Maybe you can put your next question in the chat.
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not sure. So I was saying that, like, yeah, I want to get in as a. I have already invested in two startups, and B2C expert, or like in the business. I always love.
Anuj, unfortunately, your
Sure, I mean,
audio is still breaking up here. Maybe you can put your question in the chat, please. Yes, Harshal.
I want to know that if we invest in the family business, is it considered as an investment? And we can join as an investor?
You can, yes. Yeah, you can sign up as an investor. There's a question on the investor form. I think it says if you're investing on behalf of a family office or other, you can put it in there. Or if yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Actually, I don't see that, but whatever the question I have right now in my mind, I am just asking. Then after I go through with that form.
Sure, and I guess this kind of has to do with Anuj's question too. What if both in mentor and investor? Really, it's just for our organizing our back-end data so that we know who's an investor versus who is a mentor, that we can connect and then profile people. So Anuj, hopefully you can hear me now as well. You can be an investor and a mentor, but if your main, profession is an investor, sign up as an investor. If your main profession is an expert in a certain industry, then you should probably sign up as a mentor. Cool. Yes, Dhruvi.
Hello, I just wanted to ask, would the Thursday sessions be open for all, or would it just be for the startups, mentors, and investors?
So are you a student, I think, right?
Yes, Jeremy.
Yeah, so what we are doing down the line, what we're going to do is have university partnerships so that we can have a dedicated classroom or a place on campus where students can all come together and view the sessions. Right now, it's only for the startup, the mentors, and investors, but for the student side of things, it's something that we will definitely implement very, very soon into the program. But thank you so much for asking.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure. Yes, Bashiva.
Hi, Jeremy and everyone. I basically am working as a CEO of Technology Enabling Center at BITS Pilani right now. And basically what we do is we give insights on the enablement of the technology, like on the IP or the commercialization side and similar things. So I was actually curious to know, like, would there be a requirement of mentors along those sides also, or like, would that be wise for me to enroll in this as a mentor, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for joining the session. It's great to hear from you. You can join the session. Each week you're going to see a different startup. So sometimes it might be more relevant than other times in terms of the context of what the startup is working on. So if you join as a mentor, you're going to receive the pitch deck on the Monday before the Thursday session. So if it looks like a topic or a company that you think you can add value in your feedback on, then we definitely encourage you to join the session.
Sure. Okay, got it. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Harshal.
Yeah, one more question. Mentors only invited for this session, or investors also invited?
Both mentors and investors will be invited. So again, that's just from an organizing standpoint to help us bifurcate the different types of people on the program, because there are investors and there are mentors. Any other questions out there? We still have some time here. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining the session. And if you think of something after the call's over, you can totally email us. In the resource folder, in most of the documents is a link to our emails, but I'm also just putting my email here in the chat, and then also the email for the VentureStudio. So Mega, you're unable to see the mentorship sign up link. Yeah, I think Jigar will grab that that email and he'll send you a direct link. And then I'll just also share the main program link here in the chat as well. If you click this MentorManthan.com link, it should take you to the home page, and you should be able to see the 3 buttons: apply as startup, apply as mentor, apply as investor.
I'd like to add something on that sort of confusion which we have with respect to how to categorize oneself, right? So we have seen it often going forward that somehow, somewhere investors are also mentors because they have invested, they want to handle the startup going forward, right? To incubate it because investments are live in the startup. At the same time, you have mentors who are basically HNIs, and then they have industry experience also. At the same time, they have a purse which is stash full of cash. So they all like invest in startups, and there it's a FOMO thing. It's also an asset class which they want to invest in these days. So nothing wrong with that. But here, as Jeremy spoke about it, the need to categorize is to understand the primary and the secondary objectives, right? So if at this juncture, at this point in time, as you fill up the form, at that time, if the primary objective is to invest and the secondary objective is to handle the startup going forward in your investments, then you should mention yourself as a mentor, right? So whatever is your primary objective is what you would put yourself as a category. If you want to mentor a startup and then going forward you would like to invest in it, then please put forth as a mentor or as a guide, because that is your primary objective as of now as you fill the form. Yeah, thank you. So that would apply to both Harshal and Anuj.
All right, any other questions out there? All right, well, we're going to wrap up the session. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing your applications come through and hope to see you on the call next week. Thanks, everyone.